Hey dudes, Silvite Soltis here today with another top 5 list. Vanilla WoW is known for many things. The community, the epic long dungeons and PvP battles, and the awesome leveling experience, to name a few. And while I've covered a few of those topics in previous top 5s, there's another important aspect of this game that I haven't really touched on yet. Loot. Loot and gear are among the most important items in any MMO, and of course, World of Warcraft is no exception. And while we've had many, and I mean many, different gear sets over the years, I feel that those introduced back in Classic are among the most popular and artistically inspired pieces we've ever seen. That being said, there are an absolute ton of great sets spread throughout the game, including dungeons, raids, and crafted gear. So to start, we're going to head back into Molten Core, Blackwing Lair, Onyxia's Lair, Ahn'Qiraj, and Naxxramas to talk about my picks for the top 5 classic WoW tier sets. Keep in mind that these are all my own personal opinion and mostly focus on their appearances, so don't be offended if you share a different view. We're all different people with different tastes after all, so instead of starting a flame war, feel free to share your own top 5 in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. But with that out of the way, let's get right into the list. Here are my top 5 classic WoW tier sets. Number 5. The Earthshatterer. Okay, so as a person who basically only ever played Alliance, I'll be the first to say that I absolutely adore the Shaman sets. All of them, to be honest. And while the first 2 tiers are a bit too colorful and purple to give me the impression of what a Shaman should be, the tier 3 set looks shamanistic to me. With glowing magma shoulders and somewhat sinister looking eye effects, this set looks really fantastic. If I ever saw someone wearing this in a battleground, or even just out in the open world back in late 2006, I knew I should steer clear. That being said, it's definitely among the sets I saw the least back in the day, only really getting a good look when it was redone for Wrath of the Lich King's Tier 7 and Tier 7.5 sets. Still, it's an awesome looking set that I'm really excited to see my guildmates get in the future. Number 4. The Battle Gear of Wrath. The classic warrior, with gigantic shoulder pads and a freaking axe on its helmet. The Tier 2 warrior gear is definitely my favorite warrior set of all time. Though it may be a bit too colorful for what one might imagine a badass fantasy warrior wearing, I think that's part of the aesthetic of this gear. After all, this is a fantasy game. The glowing green on the shoulders and the full head coverage, complete with horns and blades all over it, make this set just exude an aura of power and importance. If your tank had this set, you knew that you were well protected. And if you're planning to play a warrior in Classic, you should be damn sure to run Onyxia and Blackwing Lair every week to fill out this skull-covered mass of metal awesomeness. Number 3. The Nemesis Raiment. Speaking of Tier 2, here's another set that I love from that era of raiding. The Nemesis Raiment for Warlocks is one of the most badass sets of cloth armor out there. Not only does it get the shadowy feel of Warlocks with its dark purple and fell green color, but it also has demonic glowing skulls for shoulders and the helm. Plus, it's got massive horns on the top, which makes basically anyone wearing this set a full head taller. Compared with the rainbow fabulosity of their Tier 1 set, I feel that this is a much more accurate representation of the edginess of the Warlock. Sure, it might not offer as much protection as the Warrior's Wrath set, But for a warlock dabbling in demonic energies and shadow magic, a sinister outfit like this will suit the bill just fine. If I played a warlock in Classic, this would have to be my endgame goal, and I would spam the hell out of Shadowbolt to get there.
Number 2.
The Dreamwalker Raiment. The only Druid gear that I really like in Classic, the Dreamwalker Raiment is one of the most visually appealing sets in all of World of Warcraft to me, even to this day. I was overjoyed to get the Tier 7.5 version on my Tauren Druid back in Wrath of the Lich King, but I always wished that I could have gotten the original back in 2006, for one reason above all else. It's freaking green. Like, really, really green. Yeah, it's a bit of a personal preference, but I really like the color green. And when you add into the mix that the whole idea of Druidism is about nature and ties in with the Emerald Dragonflight, one can really start to see how well the set matches with the class aesthetic. When I set out to choose a main for WoW Classic, I was actually really torn between two options: the Troll Priest or a Night Elf Druid. And while I've decided to go with the Troll Priest after all, I can say with 100% certainty that this set had a very big influence on my heavy consideration of the Druid class. I love it, and I really hope to see a lot of Tier 3 Druids from 2021 or so, and especially in my groups. So those are the first 4, but there are still a lot more awesome sets that I think deserve an honorable mention. And so, in no particular order, here they are. And just for good measure, here are some sets that I think just outright suck.
And number 1.
The Vestments of Prophecy. Alright, so this is probably super unexpected for a lot of people, but my absolute favorite classic WoW tier set has got to be the Tier 1 Priest gear, the Vestments of Prophecy. While the other sets in this list, including my honorable mentions, all have a special place in my heart, the Priest Tier 1 is just way closer to me. Now there are a few reasons for this. First and foremost, it's the only set that I actually got any pieces of back in the day. Back in super late vanilla, or maybe right after the Burning Crusade launched, I bought the belt from the auction house, and so it's got a lot of sentimental value for me. My second reason, and more importantly, it just looks like how one would imagine a high priest would look, whether in reality or in this case in fantasy. The shoulders look like these sort of religious garments, and the robe is embroidered with gold and silver. And the helm is more of this extension of the back rather than some kind of funny hat, which just makes the character look even more high-ranking, in my opinion. Especially when you combine it with the epic healing staff, Benediction. But honestly, at this exact moment, I think the biggest reason that I love this set so much is that it's the set that I see myself wearing the longest upon reaching level 60 in WoW Classic. As a father with 2 small children, I probably won't be able to commit much time to hardcore raiding, and as such, I'll probably be an MC raider for a good chunk of WoW Classic's lifetime. assuming I can manage to raid it all. And so while I'd love to raid all the way up through Naxxramas, I feel like this set will keep me looking sufficiently badass no matter what comes my way. Sure, it might be a silly, personal reason, but it's my list and it's what I've got to look forward to. Plus, like I said, Benediction with this gear looks super badass, so yep, that's it. So yeah, that's my list for the top 5 Classic WoW tier sets. I'm sure that as we move forward through Classic, my views might change as I see more and more gear, and especially at relevant levels. But for now, I'd like to know what you think. Summer 2019 is fast approaching, so let me know which sets you think look the coolest by leaving a comment down below. If you enjoyed this list and would like to see more in the future, why not subscribe and hit that bell button for notifications. You can also check out my blogs over on Blogspot, or follow me on Facebook and Twitter to chit-chat about WoW or anything in general. But again, that's all for now. See you next time, and as always, take it easy.